What is up, bros, bears, mums, mommies, and everything in between? As always, this is Patrick, full promo Powell, your mom's favorite power lifter. Welcome back to another episode where we duel with the enemy that we have decided exists called gravity. We're using like swords and pistols and stuff, and gravity is just sitting there taking it because that's what we do to it. Today we have a squat day. So it is 2 o'clock. I'd like to be leaving around 4 o'clock so I can get home at a reasonable time because I'm going on a little bit of a vacation today. And I'd like to leave at a reasonable hour after training. 2 p.m. The sun is out. I did wake up at 4 in the morning. So I only got about 4 hours of sleep. Now, next week, I already know what my program for squats is going to be. I think we're going to go about training squats in a odd manner. So bench programming and deadlift programming pretty much all set all the way out until September, which is where the PLU 2025 PLU Power Surge in Chicago, Illinois is, which is my next meet. So because my last two preps, I had pretty good preps when it came to bench and deadlift, but my squats, on the other hand, that did not go over so well. So what we're planning to do, we don't really know what we're doing with squats quite yet. I'm talking with Shane Haller and the 2300 boys to try and figure out what the optimal route to go with my squat is, because my past couple training cycles leading up to a meet left me with very little confidence in my squat. My old coach said at my last meet, if I didn't almost die, I would have hit something at like 1072, but that's easy to say when you're not under the bar dying because of bad advice. Anyways, but I was like, I'll be lucky if I hit 1,000 pounds, which that means my squat has gone down significantly over the years. Anyways, so what we got going on today, I think I'm going to do a 2x3. I consulted with Sophie. I was like, let's do a 2x3. And because I only got 4 hours of sleep, let's stay on the lower end. Last week, or not last week, but the week before, I think it was, the week before was deload. The week before that, I did a 676 for a 10 in as few sets as possible, or I hit 6 and 4. And yeah, so 2x3, I would like to be somewhere in the 7s today. But I'm capping myself off at 700 pounds. So if I get to, this instinctual training is a little meh, because you have to be actually honest with yourself. And honesty, though it's the best policy, is kind of difficult to do when you've got to be overconfident in what you're doing to ensure that you're never doubting yourself. It's kind of like a catch-22, but that's what we got the plan for today. I want to be in and out of the gym in 2 hours, so work up to do a 2x3 at hopefully around 700 pounds. Might do like a 672 jump to a 700. That would suffice. That would satisfy me immensely. It's like I satisfied your mom last night. Anyways, GPS took me in a different route from work to the gym, so I had to wait until I recognized where I was before recording the video because I didn't know where I was. But we're at the gym, and I will see you boys, girls, muscle mommies, everything. I'll see y'all in there. Patty out. We had ourselves a squat day, boys. So, squats are a thing that happens at the beginning of every single powerlifting meet, unless it's a push-pull. Then it's almost like you're playing like easy mode, because squats. Why are people so scared of squats? That's my question. Why do people get so scared of squats that like there's bench only, there's deadlift only? Why do people avoid doing squats? Why are like so the squat specialists compete full power But there are bench specialists and there are deadlift specialists, which means squat specialists are the real men out there, and they're allowed to grow beards. Yes, that is what I have determined right here, right now. Unless they pull sumo, then they're still little boys, little girls, little sissies who can't grow beards, unless you're Dan Grigsby. But Dan Grigsby is a special beast. Anyways, so squats today. We've been having a little bit of a redirection when it comes to squats because Sophie told me that I squat high. And if you ever let a significant other ever tell you that you're wrong about something, you will do and go out of your way to make yourself right about something. Unless they tell you your pee-pee is small, then the only thing you can really do is cry. Anyways, my get those tear ducts in the anabolic phase. Because I'm white. And, you know what that implies. Irishman with a ginger beard. It's above average. But anyways. Squats. She said I squat high sometimes, not all the time, sometimes. And that is wholly unacceptable. It is wholly unacceptable to be squatting high ever. So in training, I would like all my squats to be undeniably to depth. So last week we did a little bit of a redirection, and we knew that our CNS was not okay. So we changed, or we tweaked what training was supposed to be going on so that we could, we lowered the weight and we worked on form, which is what 90% of you boys and girls out there should be doing. If you fall into a snafu, you should take a step back, maybe two, so you can take 3 steps forward. The way that we did this is we warm-ups, we said, we are real men. If we put something for us to squat to, we will squat to that. So I found the smallest box in the gym, which is used for step-ups, which is also the only box in the gym because this gym is a USAPL heaven, and USAPL lifters, I don't get why different feds have different standards. Well, I know why some feds have different standards, because they put a bunch of multiply lifters in the chairs, and they say whatever their standard, whatever they squat to is the standard, and they all squat high. So a lot of squats pass in the federations that are surrounded by multiply lifters. But we got every rule book has the same picture for what depth looks like. It's the hip crease has to be below the top of the knee. That is the definition from the rule book. So a lot of people try to think that the hip crease has to be below the top of, not the hip crease. When they're watching super heavyweight lifters, they look more at where the quad touches the core, and they're like, that's the hip crease. No, that's not. So they're like, oh, this super heavyweight squats high. And then it's like, no, they don't. But I would like my squats to be undeniable, not like, I want it so that you don't have to go, oh, judging super heavyweights is different. So anyways, so we got the lowest box. We started off and we did some, I think it was 5s with the bar. And then we did 1 red for 5s, I think. And then 2 reds for 5s, 3 reds. We took the box out, and I think we did 3. And pretty much you take the box out early, because when you're squatting with a box, you start reaching with your glute, with your butt. You start reaching, and your form changes a little bit. And when you don't want to lose tension, but you want to make sure you're fully on the box. And to work your hips a little bit more, it's not rocking back and forth, but it's taking full pressure off, almost like a pin press, or not a pin press, yeah, a pin press, or just like a regular deadlift. Pin press, pin squat. There's many variations where you go from the bottom of your lift with as little tension as possible in your muscles and into actually performing the movement. It teaches you how to get tight in those specific spots. If you suck at depth, chances are you don't have the musculature at depth in order to properly squat and progress. So we take the box out after we hit 3 reds because we want to make sure we're not reaching for the box, we're not losing tension at the bottom, not doing like a pin press, and we also don't want to fatigue the hips too much because doing box squats also builds up the hips. Greg Panora once yelled at Louis Simmons, who said that Greg sucks at squatting because he's got weak hips, and Greg was like, I'm the greatest powerlifter of all time, back in 2008. I don't have weak hips, I've got all-time world records. And Louis was like, it doesn't matter, your hips are still weak, you need to work on those. Do more box squats. And then Greg pretty much tried to never box squat again in his life. If you've got weak hips, box squats. One of my favorite accessories is super high box squats, but you do it for super high reps. So like 50 reps with like 315. For me, it'd be like 315, 405, where you're basically, it's almost a similar range of motion as Dimmel deadlifts, where like Dimmel deadlifts, you lock it out and you bring it to your knee and you lock it out again, where basically you're breaking at the hips and you're going down a little bit and then you're popping back up and doing that for like 30, 40 reps. Really wicked good hip pump. Pumps are not pumps don't guarantee that you've made progress, but pumps are a good indicator that you're hitting the right muscle group. So it's like a give and take, because powerlifters aren't looking for the pump. Bodybuilders are looking for the pump. Powerlifters are looking for the power. So like once you build up that mind-muscle connection, being like, I'm activating the right stuff, you can kind of increase the weight, and then you start using the Prilepin's chart to really dig down into what your accessory should be, and then use a grain of salt with that Prilepin's chart and recognize that you're doing an actual squat. So like you fill your bucket halfway or 3/4 of the way with your main movement, and then you fill the rest of the bucket until it's overflowing with your accessory movements, so that you make progress and you're not limiting yourself into a recovery hole where you are not recovering from your training. And that was a run-on sentence. Good job, Patrick. Run-on sentences. Anyways, so we also got up to 4 reds, which I believe was our final warm-up. Yep, it was our final warm-up. And then we got up to 5 reds. 5 reds is 606. And that was supposed to be my last warm-up, but I was not in a good space. So I slept 4 hours before this training session so I could get to work early, so I could leave early, go train before packing up and going out to, whatchamacallit, Mystic, which, by the way, I'm back from that. That weekend was phenomenal. It was everything we needed. And the mental deload, A+. A+. We went to the Mystic shops. We got to see penguins, the sea lion show at the Mystic Aquarium. Amazing. And then we also hit up on the drive back, because it was basically a 3-day vacation, kind of. On the drive down, we hit up some ramen shop, and then we spent a day doing the Mystic shops and the aquarium. And then we went to Target late at night and then decided to get some Legos, and then decided that it was too late to do Legos, and we didn't actually build the Legos, and the Legos are now sitting on the kitchen counter, undone, which we need to do because I bought them, and I would like to do the Legos. Anyways, ADHD rant. Oh, and then we hit up the Book Barn, and then the Book Barn 2.0, and then we hit up Rereads in Westerly, and then we hit up Milton's Bookshop in also in Westerly, and then got some gelato in Westerly, and then we hit up the same ramen shop, and they recognized us. They were like, weren't you in here 2 days ago? And we were like, yeah, we were. This is good ramen. First time ever having shopped ramen, not top ramen, like actually going to a ramen shop and getting ramen, and life-changing. I am a changed man because of that experience. And then finished the trek home, and then I eventually spilled an entire glass of fresh tea on my lap. Just my quad though. So that was a little burnt, but the sunburn I had on my calf was worse than the tea burn on my leg. Anyway, so we worked up to 600, did a triple, and I was like, okay, I'm not hitting 700 today. So we're working up, and we're going to do even jumps to 650. So instead of doing a 2x3, we're doing a 3x3, except we're starting off where what we thought was going to be our last warm-up is our first set. So we're doing ascending triple. So 650 or 600 for 2, and then or 606 for 3. I'm just spouting out numbers at this point. 606 for 3, felt pretty good. I did poop a little, so I had to go wipe, and I ended up taking a little bit too much time in between sets for this one. So I felt a little cold. And then 628, I believe, for 3. And like the first rep was the highest rep, but that's to be expected when you get cold and hard and you lose your elasticity, because when you're warm, you're nice and elastic, but as you cool down, you harden up and it gets less. But first rep still 2 depth, second and third rep undeniable. First rep kind of undeniable. Like it's if undeniable was a spectrum, like a gauge, it's still depth and deeper than normal, but high enough that someone who has no idea what depth is might they'd still consider it depth. Like undeniable is everyone, your grandma and the haters in the gym, the ops, as the kids say these days, will say, okay, fine, you hit depth. But like any sort of creeping upwards, the ops are going to be like, you squat high. Like if you want to insult a powerlifter, the first thing you can do is say they squat high, because they're all insecure about that. It's like saying any dude has a tiny wee-wee. Girls like saying that first thing when they get mad at them. You have a tiny wee-wee. I faked every orgasm. I don't know. It's unrelatable to me. But we took less time between set 2 and 3, so we loaded up 650, and I think it was my best triple. I probably could have kept going, but I was on a time constraint. I was only in the gym for an hour. It took me 45 minutes to train, squats, warm up, and get all 3 sets out. And then I did some kind of burnout sets, because I wanted to get some blood flowing to the quads and the abs and the lats. So we did 1 set of high repitudes, and then we skedaddled. And we arrived home 30 minutes earlier than the departure time that we would have liked, which means we left exactly when we intended to, which is phenomenal. It was A+ on me, and we had a good weekend. Anyways, yeah, I think that was my training day, and I hope you guys enjoyed my little ADHD tangents, because powerlifting may be super important to me, but it's like when you become a master of a craft, everything kind of seems nominal, and like you might be, if you talk to PhDs about their special interests, let's be honest, all PhDs are autistic, and they just got a piece of paper that validated their autism, because whatever they got their PhD in was their special interest. There was a debate at one point where people were like, would you rather listen to a PhD thesis or a autistic person rant about trains for an hour? And everyone was like, oh, the trains. And I'm like, do you guys not realize that autistic people like more than just trains? Like, we all have a special interest. And like PhDs just were able to get a degree in their special interest. That's what it is. They're all socially awkward. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you liked the video, leave a like, comment down below, tell me that you love me, because you can always be told that you're loved more often, and make sure you tell your homies that you love them too. It might actually change a life one of these days. Share the love, spread the love, let people know they're loved and appreciated, because let's be honest, people don't hear that they're loved and appreciated enough, and it can change someone's day, week, month, year, if they're reminded just how special they are to any one of you. Anyways, share this with your mom, since she has totally forgotten what a real man looks like, because that's me. I'm a real man. Anyways, see you boys in boys, girls, muscle mommies, everything in between. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Patty out.